Cast your mind back to the late 1990s and early 2000s. The internet was a brave new world, full of promise and digital mailboxes. But along with those exciting emails from friends and colleagues came an unwelcome guest: spam. You've won $1 million, miracle weight loss pills. Our inboxes were drowning in a sea of digital junk. It felt like an unstoppable tide, a problem that might just break the very idea of email. But then, an unlikely hero emerged. Not a fancy new piece of hardware, but a dusty old mathematical formula from 1763. This is the story of how an 18th century theorem became the secret weapon in the war on spam and laid the groundwork for modern artificial intelligence. The story begins with a man named Thomas Bayes, a quiet English minister and mathematician. In 1763, 2 years after his death, a friend published his work, which included what we now call Bayes' theorem. At its core, the theorem is a beautifully simple way to update our beliefs in the face of new evidence. Imagine you think there's a 50% chance of rain. If you then look outside and see dark clouds, Bayes' theorem gives you a mathematical way to calculate the new, higher probability of rain based on that observation. It's a formula for learning. For over 200 years, this idea remained mostly in the realm of statisticians and philosophers. It was elegant, but its real-world applications weren't immediately obvious, especially in a world without computers. Fast forward to the turn of the millennium, the spam problem was exploding. Early spam filters were clumsy. They relied on simple keyword blocking. If an email contained the word free, it was marked as spam. Spammers quickly adapted. They started writing FR33 or FRE. It was a constant cat-and-mouse game, and the filters were losing. Users were frustrated, and email providers were desperate for a solution. It was clear that a more intelligent approach was needed. Someone, somewhere, had to teach a computer how to asterisk think asterisk, like a human who could instantly spot a junk email. This is where our 18th century hero re-enters the stage. In 1998, a programmer named Paul Graham had an epiphany. He realized that the spam problem wasn't about blocking specific words. It was about probability. What is the probability that an email is spam given the words it contains? This question was a perfect fit for Bayes' theorem. Graham built one of the first Bayesian spam filters and documented his process. His idea was revolutionary. Instead of a rigid list of bad words, his filter could learn. Here's how it worked, and it's brilliant in its simplicity. First, you need 2 sets of emails. A big pile of legitimate emails you want to keep, and a big pile of spam you want to block. The filter then analyzes both piles. It counts how often each word appears in the spam pile versus the legitimate pile. For example, the word Viagra might appear in 5% of spam emails, but almost never, maybe 0.01% in your work emails. The word meeting might appear frequently in your work emails, but rarely in spam. Each word gets its own spamminess, score a probability. The word Viagra gets a very high score, maybe 99%. The word meeting gets a very low one, maybe 1%. It looks up the spamminess score for each word. A word like hello might have a neutral 50% score. Limited time offer would have a high score. Quarterly report would have a low one. The filter then uses Bayes' theorem to combine all these individual probabilities into one single, overall score for the entire email. Is this email, given all its words, more likely to belong to the spam family or the legitimate email family? If the final score crosses a certain threshold, say 95% probability of being spam, it's sent directly to the junk folder. You never even have to see it. This approach was called the naive Bayes classifier. Why naive? Because it makes a simple and technically incorrect assumption. It treats every word independently. It assumes the probability of the word by appearing has no effect on the probability of the word now appearing. In real language, of course, these words often appear together. But here's the magic. Even with this naive assumption, it worked astonishingly well. It was far more effective than anything that had come before it. The beauty of the naive Bayes filter was its ability to personalize and adapt. When you marked an email as spam or not spam, you were actively training your own personal filter. You were providing it with new evidence. If a spammer started using a new trick phrase, you'd mark a few of their emails as spam. The filter would instantly learn that this new phrase is a strong indicator of junk. It learned your personal email patterns. If you were a pharmacist, the filter would learn that emails with medical terms weren't necessarily spam for you. The filter got smarter and more customized with every click. The impact was immediate and massive. Within a few years, Bayesian filtering was integrated into almost every major email client and service. From Microsoft Outlook to Gmail, it wasn't a perfect solution. Spammers are always evolving, but it turned the tide. It transformed our inboxes from a chaotic mess into a manageable communication tool. It pushed the spammers to work much harder, using images instead of text, or crafting more sophisticated messages to try and fool the algorithms. The war wasn't over, but the balance of power had shifted dramatically. Naive Bayes had saved email. But the story doesn't end there. The success of Naive Bayes and spam filtering was a landmark moment for a field that was about to explode: machine learning. It was a clear, powerful demonstration that you could use data and probability to teach a computer to make intelligent classifications without explicitly programming the rules. This fundamental idea is the bedrock of so much of the AI we use today. Think about it. What does a spam filter do? It's looking at a piece of text and classifying it into one of two categories: spam or not spam. This is a task called text classification, and it's everywhere. When a news website automatically sorts articles into sports, politics, or technology, that's text classification. When a company analyzes customer reviews to determine if the sentiment is positive or negative, that's text classification. Many of these systems, especially in their early days, were built using the same Naive Bayes principles that saved our inboxes. The legacy of Naive Bayes extends far beyond just text. It's used in medical diagnosis to calculate the probability of a patient having a certain disease based on their symptoms. It's used in weather forecasting to predict the chance of rain based on factors like humidity and temperature. It's even been used in facial recognition systems to classify images. While today we have more complex and powerful models like neural networks and large language models, Naive Bayes remains a vital tool in the data scientist's toolkit. It's fast, efficient, requires relatively little data to get started, and provides a fantastic baseline to measure more complex models against. Sometimes, for a straightforward classification problem, the simple, naive approach is still the best one. So, the next time you open your email and see a clean inbox, with all the junk neatly tucked away in a separate folder, take a moment to thank Thomas Bayes and his 250-year-old theorem. It's a powerful reminder that sometimes the most elegant solutions to our most modern problems can be found in the most unexpected of places. A simple idea about updating beliefs in the face of evidence conceived by a quiet minister in the 18th century grew into the digital gatekeeper that made modern communication possible and helped pave the way for the age of artificial intelligence. It's a testament to the timeless power of a good idea. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this story of a historical algorithm's modern-day heroism interesting, be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more dives into the hidden tech that shapes our world. See you in the next one.